Today we have Catalina Bloch, also hailing from Canada, back to back
Canadian.
Great nation here. This time it's the other side of the country in Ottawa.
Yep.
Who has heard of Ottawa before?
Yeah,
4 people. Yeah. I'll start with the same question.
Wait. Who's watched Heated Rivalry? Then you know about Ottawa. Okay, the same people. Never mind.
Give me the one sentence sales pitch why we should visit Ottawa.
You should.
All right.
It's so cold.
Diving into podcast. So, Kat is the owner of Modern Photobooth Company.
Yeah.
We go way back, and since she started her company, such an impressive $6.6 million of cumulative revenue. I think holding our #1 spot in the club here. So, give a round of applause for Kat. Just truly incredible. Love seeing you rise to fame here. We got a little quick a timeline here because I have ADHD and I overran the last one. So we're going to go quick into this.
Like this.
Always is. So we're going to dive right into it. So first question, Kat, here is, when you first started, were you thinking 7 figures?
No.
Or were you thinking just trying to survive?
I started my photo booth business so that I could have a baby because I knew I was going to have to stop working, and EI, which is unemployment insurance in Canada, only pays you like a certain amount of money that people can't really live on. And so I'm like, well, I need to supplement that. So I started the business. I'm like, I need to make $30,000 because that was the number. And I think we did that in like 3 or 4 months.
You overshot that by a little bit.
Just a tad. Yeah. So then I was able to have a baby, but then I waited like 10 more years to.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever heard that story before. Okay, so when you're first starting off, completely overshot that initial goal, being very successful. Actually, we actually collaborated together to create the 6-figure, how to make a 6-figure business in 6 steps. So I'm curious, what was your first big win? And what did it do for your confidence in being a business owner?
Wow, we had so many. We did a sponsored event, and if you guys follow me, I talk a lot about doing sponsored events, not free events, but sponsored events to get your name out. And the first one that we did, we got a lot of clients that ended up booking us, and some that we still work with to this day. And one of them in particular saw us in action, and we have a brand in Canada called Giant Tiger, Team GT Boutique, for those of you who know. And they're a very Canadian chain, but I remember they asked me to do a festival out in PEI, which is very far, and they said, I need it for 3 days. And I'm like, this is going to be so much. And I priced it out, and I'm like, I told my husband, I'm like, this is going to be like $10,000. Like, no one's going to pay me that, because I was naive back then. And I sent the quote because I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to see what they say. Sent the quote. It was $10,000, and they signed in like 2 days. And I was like, my God. And after that, I was like, okay, corporate's the way to go. They have the money. But we also had so much fun, and I got to meet like a whole bunch of country music stars that were like behind the scenes. Not that I listened to it, but I knew who they were. And that's kind of what got me thinking like, okay, I need to start going into corporate. They're very specific on what they want. And that was kind of the thing that opened up for me.
Interesting. I'm curious, if you were to have 2 parallel lives here, one where you kind of stuck to the traditional trajectory of doing the event you were doing, and then one trajectory where you're doing the corporate, what would have been Catalina's life right now if you just stuck to the non-corporate role? Where would we be looking at Modern right now? What would it look like?
I don't know. I mean, if I didn't do corporate the way I do, I'd be a totally different business. I mean, there's different levels that you go through in a business. So like 0 to 250 certain types of events, or 0 to 100, and then 100 to 250, and there's levels of corporate. So I think I would still have done some corporate, like trade shows and maybe like business networking events and stuff like that, but I would have plateaued at a certain point.
Yeah. Well, speaking of plateau, yours must have been burning. So when did you first realize that you were the plateau, or another business process was a plateau?
Yeah.
And when did you realize that, and what did you do about it?
I mean, there's so many, like all the time. As soon as you get over one, there's another one.
What was the first one?
The first one was automating our booking system. So I was the one doing everything. We did spreadsheets and email, and I was working full time in insurance, and I was on the road a lot. So I had like my lunch breaks or like in between breaks to do the stuff that I needed to do, and weekends, right? And it started to get to be a lot. Like I was doing a lot of events and I had a spreadsheet going and I knew what was going on, but I was the only one that knew. So my husband couldn't help me. No one else could help me unless they like knew what was in my head. And so I had a booth attendant who was a photographer. She was a professional photographer. And she's like, you're crazy. You need to have a CRM system. And she's like, I use this one here and let me help you set it up. And I was like, okay. So she showed me it. And when she showed it to me, I was like, this is insane. So I just started building everything out, automating all my emails. I was like, I don't even need to answer people anymore. Like this thing can answer them for me. It can do follow-ups. It'll send the invoice. And all of a sudden it like freed up all of my time so that I could actually spend the time doing the testing and networking and all that kind of stuff. And then automating became an obsession at this point. So yeah, that was the biggest one.
Well, what I love about Catalina is, yes, people focus on growing revenue, but Catalina focuses on growing systems and processes that scale,
Yeah.
Right? Well, tell me about too much. What do you mean by that?
I mean, like everything that I look at, I'll do it the first time and I'm like, how do I make this more systematized? How do I automate it? And well, it's not that it's too much. It's that sometimes I'll realize that if something can't be automated or systematized, then I'll be like, is it worth it for me? And sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. But it literally is the first thing that pops into my head almost about everything.
So that was your first plateau. What was your second plateau?
The second one was probably going from about 500,000 in revenue to $1 million, because I went from one employee, like one full-time employee, to needing a team at that point. We were doing, well, COVID happened, right? So we had the best year of our life in 2019. We came to PBX, we bought all the things, we had all this money. And then 2 weeks later, the world shut down. And funny enough, we still grew a little bit that year with virtual events, but then the year 2023 came, and then within the first 8 months we hit 7 figures, and we were scrambling to be able to like hire the team that we needed to bring on. But I remember when we hit that 500-ish mark, it was different. Like we weren't doing small events anymore. We were dealing with more agencies and like corporate clients that were more marketing focused, not so much like the admin assistant that was trying to like book us for some trade show. And it required us to think differently. Like we needed to be able to show up in multiple places. And again, going back to like the automation and stuff and systematizing things, like we need to make sure that we were sending out 5 or 6 photo booths, that everyone was doing the same thing, representing the company the same way. So it meant hiring. And then I hate hiring. It's so time consuming. You need to, I mean, you know this too. Brandon has taught me a lot about hiring, actually. He does it really well, so he should do a class on that one day. But you need to be able to teach other people to hire, because I'm not going to hire 20 photo booth attendants every single year. Like I need to be able to give that to someone else. So learning to hire a team, and then even more so learning to be a leader to that team, is a whole new just keep laughing. Brandon's seen me at my worst.
Inside knowledge there. Anyway, so yeah, it's such a fascinating business you have here, Kat, because a lot of people haven't hit the scale that you have. So the first plateau is making sure you're having the CRM set up. I'm hearing that as a recurring theme. The second one is actually building out your team, but there's something in the middle there, which is like hiring your first employee.
Yes.
So I'm curious, like, for everyone out there, what is that inflection point where someone should be thinking about bringing on their first employee that's not an attendant, right? Someone who's actually running the business, and it could be part-time, it could be the virtual assistant, but what should they be looking for?
I always think that for a photo booth business that's growing, thank you guys, yes, it's okay. They should hire someone that's 50-50. So a lot of times you don't have enough work for a full-time role. You need someone who needs to like pack your kits, test your equipment. You want someone who's going to answer your emails while you're not there so that you can maybe go out and get business, but you don't have anything that's a full-time role. And what I did is I hired someone that did both. So they did the admin side of things. They also did the packing, the testing and programming of the kits as well. And what happened is they naturally gravitated towards one side once we got busier. So then that person moved into that role, and then eventually they trained the next person that was coming in. So you don't have to have a full-time role. It can also be part-time, but I will always say like admin is if you can't automate it, you need to delegate it, because you need to free up your time to actually go out and get the business, because that's what moved you in the first place, right? It was you being at events, and at first that's what you have to do. So I think that part-time admin and someone to help you actually pack the kits and stuff is the best first move anyone can do.
100%. I think for a lot of businesses outside the photo booth attendance, getting from the 1 million to 3 million mark is actually hiring your first full-time employee.
Yeah.
So I think you did a good job of identifying things that you weren't passionate about, things that you probably weren't good at, and you brought that person in, and that person was a yin to your yang, was able to just help scale you to where you need to go. So I love that. You know, a lot of people here, we're first-time entrepreneurs, you know, and there's a lot of self-limiting beliefs that we have about ourselves, right? I'm curious, what was one of your self-limiting beliefs that prevented you from scaling, taking that next level?
I constantly thought of myself as a side hustle for a very long time, even though like when I started, I gave myself the mentality of a bigger business. So like on paper, I had a 1-800 number because back then they weren't spammy. It was like, if you were a legit business, you had a 1-800 number. And I had a commercial address, which was just a like PO box type thing, but not a PO box. So it looked like we were a team, right? And we made ourselves look kind of bigger than we were. But in my head, I still was kind of like, this is a side hustle. And one day I realized, I'm like, this is not a side hustle. Like, this is a legit business. And when I actually leaned into that is when things started to change drastically. And I started investing in more business mentorships and stuff like that. And like, that's what propelled almost everything exponentially. But at that mindset, and we don't realize it, that we have those things. A lot of people struggle with this, with charging appropriately. They say, like I said, no one's going to pay this. Someone's going to pay it. You just need to show them why, right? And none of us are born with a marketing background. Marketing's really hard, but once you nail it and you actually are able to speak the language of who you're trying to go after, they don't question it anymore.
I love that. We're talking a lot here on stage about operational efficiency and scaling the back end.
Yeah.
But some people will probably not answer like, okay, well, you can scale the back end, but I'm not getting the money. How are you scaling the revenue? So I'm curious, on the other side, how did you scale revenue?
We went hard with we understood who we were marketing to. So when I first started the business, I said, we're going to be a stylized booth because I hated photo booths. I thought they were so tacky, like you would not catch me dead in it. And then I see Brandon's booth at WPPI and I was like, oh, this is like a studio booth. Like, this is really nice. This is something I would actually do. And then I remember like trying to figure out how to make props look nice. And so I made paper props with like a Cricut machine. Ruined my carpet. Literally, it's glitter forever. But that was like stylizing that and using premium backdrops. I started attracting the clients that were like me, that I wanted to work with. And so we just kind of kept going deeper into that. And the more we niched into who those people were, the more they started coming to us and booking us. We did that with our weddings.
And just for context, like how much money were you making before that shift and how much money were you making after that shift?
Well, I mean, we did 6 figures in our first year because of that.
Okay.
Because we were so adamant that we were this company, right? We were this luxury wedding photo booth company at first. And then later on, we changed it. Like eventually I split the brand. So that's why I have Modern Photo Booth and I have Modern Activations. Because a lot of people try to market both under one brand and you can get so far, but eventually you're not going to be able to keep going. You need to have your brand aligned with who you're going after. So, I mean, every year we've grown by like 100,000 and then it just kind of keeps going. We didn't grow that much between 2020, but then we went from 500 to 1.5 in 8 months. So it's crazy. Yeah.
So there's a few people in the 6-figure club here, and maybe if they were to ask you like, hey, how do I get from $100,000 a year to $300,000 a year? So you've got to broke that barrier from the 6-figure mark. What's the next level from there, and how do you break that next plateau?
It's always refining your target market. It's what I repeat to everyone. You guys, it's right in front of you. If you're struggling with that, if you pull all of your events and you look at what's bringing you the most amount of money, what you enjoy doing, and what is actually like moving your needle, you'll have that in your books. You just need to look at the last year and you'll see like, oh, I had 20 events that paid me an average of $2,500 or something, and I love doing those events. Just go hard after those people and just have all your marketing focused on that, because you'll start booking things that have a higher average, and your average bookings will go up. And because you're talking to one very specific person, they will start booking you more, and you become like the authority in that space. Kind of like you.
The riches are in the niches.
Yes, they are.
So if you could leave one piece of advice for people starting out here today,
Yeah.
to help scale in that 0 to 100,000 point, and what would that be?
Niche down. Like, pick an avatar, pick a person that you want to go after, pick a type of event. Weddings is not it's not a niche. That is this whole sector. There's levels within weddings. Like, who is your client? What do they look like? How much money do they make? How much are they spending on their wedding? Like, that is how specific you need to get. Because you talk to that person, it's very different than talking to someone who's planning a wedding that's $150,000 is very different than talking to someone who's planning a wedding for 40 grand. Totally different people. So you need to hone in on that.
We just talked about networking with vendors and wedding planners, right?
Yeah.
You could choose to network with the wedding venue at the St. Regis,
Yeah.
or would you rather choose to network with a wedding venue at the local town hall, right? Like,
Yeah.
two very different types of markets.
Yeah.
One is probably paid for by mom and dad who are multimillionaires. One is whatever that is, right? So it makes a lot of sense. So that was on the front end with one piece of advice to give to scale revenue. What would be one piece of advice for one person going from 0 to 100,000 on the back end, on the operations side?
I mean, automate there's so many tools nowadays too to like help you automate.
Give us one hyper specific one. Like
A CRM,
yeah,
booth books.
Yeah.
If I have to, like
even more specific, what exactly in Booth Book? Like one thing, one quick takeaway.
the entire booking process. Like, it's not
Everything.
Our wedding leads are 100% automated. We do not talk to them unless they talk to us. That's it. Like, they inquire, we send them pricing, we do the follow-ups, we hit their objections, everything. And the only time we actually talk to them is when they respond back, like, this is what I want. This is what I'm interested in. I need you to give me a quote because I need an extra hour. And those are the people we talk to and we spend time with, and those are the people we book. So we don't spend time on the other people who are maybe not qualified, or maybe just checking out our prices, or maybe another Photobooth company trying to find out what we're doing. Please don't spam my website. But you can automate all of that, all of it. So you could, I mean, especially now with AI agents, like, we could get into this, but you can build a whole company and be one person doing all the admin with a bunch of little robots. It's wild.
Especially with AI.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yep.
Crazy. Catalina, thanks for an amazing 25 minutes on the stage with you.
That was
always a pleasure in chatting. Whoever got value from the conversation, give a round of applause to Kat.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.